Hello Aquarius! Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Thoth Tarot or Toth Tarot. I'm probably saying it wrong either way, but it's by Aleister Crowley. My focus is off a little bit at the moment. I don't know what that's about. The Supportive Oracle Cards, Chakra Wisdom Oracle Cards by Tori Hartman, illustrated by Gretchen. There's her last name, so I don't butcher that. Okay, there's that information. We've already shuffled. I want to use these first. Is there like a fourth level to this? I'm thinking there's a fourth level to this. Okay. Now, a fourth level in this reading, which I've probably done in other readings. I don't know if I've done it for Aquarius, but like, the first level is you. The second level is what's happening between you and what you're dealing with. The third level is the environment. The fourth level is outside of that environment. It's almost kind of like people, like your best friend having an argument with their spouse and you don't know about it, but then you're dealing with your best friend and you're having an argument with them and not understanding why they're so difficult because they've been arguing with their spouse. That's what kind of set it off, but you have no idea that happened. That's like the fourth line. Like, it's outside of what you're knowing. You're not directly dealing with it, but it's happening out there, and but it's affecting what you're having to deal with. As I keep going, I'll try to explain it better in case that was muddled. I'm like, I'm already annoyed with it. I'm just like, there's stuff outside of you that it's affecting what you're dealing with. That being said, though, I don't see like anything really bad happening here. No, I don't think so. I think you have some good stuff actually coming forward. Let's see how it goes. Coming into the situation, whoever you're dealing with, I'm starting off with this card. This is in the environment. It's called Gossip. And I feel like somebody's kind of like showboating a little bit. And when it's gossip, I just feel like somebody's boasting up something more than they can actually do. Like, somebody's really playing themselves up. And you're like, all right, you're good, but you're really not that good. Like, it's kind of like saying, yeah, maybe you made the cake for that wedding and it was good, but you didn't do the whole dinner. You just did the cake. So let's calm down. You didn't do everything. Like, you didn't make that wedding a success. You didn't do the decorations. You didn't plan everything. You didn't plan the vacations, how they were going to do anything. You didn't do the music. You made the cake. You didn't make the whole wedding. So let's just relax. And I feel like that's what you're looking at. Like, somebody's saying, I brought the cake and the cake was what made that wedding a success. And you're like, no, not really. There's a lot of other elements. Yours was good. Yours was a very good success to that, but it wasn't the end-all, be-all. And I feel like you're looking at this kind of like, oh, you're getting on my nerves. Because you got the despondence between you and this situation. Like, you might even be calling out this energy. Like, listen, you did good, yes. You didn't create the whole, like, you weren't the reason. Like, if you were the only person that showed up, that would not have been a success. Like, you were a piece of it, but you weren't the end-all, be-all. You might be calling it out. I'm getting on your side, though. The interesting part is you have the Ace of Cups in the growth. Whoever this is, you do like them. So you're trying to be like, yes, again, you did the cake well, and it was a contributor. You contributed to the success of the event. Yes, it was very good. It was really, really good. Yes, it was. Yeah, if you were the only person that showed up, the situation would not have still have been a success. And you're trying to make that point. Like, listen, you contributed. You were not the end-all, be-all. You got growth here with the Ace of Cups. Like, you're trying to help this person see their piece of it. You're like, you did not know. It was not only you. There was other people who helped. But it's not bad. You got the Ace of Cups. You do like this energy, oddly enough. It's just kind of like, you're like, listen, you're a little out of control. You now have coming in the Nine of Discs. The Nine of Pentacles. It says gain at the bottom. I'm getting there's a very comfortable sense here. Gain, I don't know about gain. I don't know if I'm really feeling the gain. I feel like you're making your point with this person and you're showing them like you work. It's like you're a violin in the orchestra. You may be lead violin. You may be very good. You may be the only violin in this orchestra. But without you, yes, that would have been a bit, that would have thrown things off. Great, true. But if you're the only one that showed up, you can't play every instrument by yourself. And I feel like when I'm feeling the Knight of Pentacles, like you've made your point, and the other person seems to be giving into it. The other person is realizing, like, because I feel like you also contributed to this situation, whatever it is. It's almost like if this person made the cake, you did the dinner. Like, you did the buffet or you did the dinner. Like, if you did the, you did the dinner, which was also very good and another very important contribution to the situation. You know what I mean? And I feel like they have balance and gratitude here. Like, it's the gratitude is outside of you, though. It's outside of the situation. Like, you're seeing the balance. Like, somebody's saying, whoever you're dealing with is saying, yeah, you're correct. I understand. Like, my part worked, and if my part didn't work, that would have kind of made a damper on the situation. But if I was the only person that did it right, if mine was the only thing that went right, it still would have been a fail. I understand what you're saying. I get it. Somebody's agreeing with you. Outside of them is gratitude. Because somebody, like, there's another it's almost like somebody else helped them bake the cake, for example, and you don't know, you're not connected with that person. It's almost, you know what I mean? If we're doing the same analogy, I'm trying to keep it with the same analogy to keep it simple. It's like somebody helped them bake the cake. It was their idea to do it a certain way. They made sure the right ingredients were done at the right time and it wasn't overly mixed and it was only baked in a certain way at a certain rack with water in there. And they made sure it all worked out. They're getting the gratitude from this person. So there's another level going on here is what I'm getting. But this level is away from you. You're not connected to it. You might not even know it's happening. And it's almost like this energy that you're dealing with, they're trying to show this person that they're connected with that they very much appreciate it. They're just going over the top a little bit. And you're not understanding what the deal is. Because it's like, I don't know, I don't think you do, but comments below will let me know different. So as this keeps going forward, I'm getting more victory is happening here. In this deck, the Four of Swords is very interesting because I do feel it's kind of like a healing, it's kind of like a protection, it's like things are fortified and stable. I feel like you've said your piece and you're on the same page with this person and things are good. I feel like this is good because another situation is coming forward. You got service with perseverance, and I'm kind of feeling with this situation, it's basically saying another situation is coming forward and you're going to do well with this person, and you've kind of curbed it. You've kind of nipped it in the bud. Like, let's not go over the top here with singing our own praises. Let's sing the praises of the team, and let's not go overboard. Let's not make it ridiculous. Let's just, like, if we need to, that's fine, but let's make sure you include everybody. And let's make sure it's also warranted. Okay. Victory. It says victory. The Six of Wands I do see as a victory card. Actually, this matches for how I feel about it. I'm getting whatever you're dealing with, like, the other side is agreeing. Like, okay, you're right. Yes, it does take, like, it takes a village to raise a child, blah, 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 blah. Takes a team to make a successful wedding. It's not just about my cake. Okay, good. Yes, that's working fine. You're getting agreements with this. Your next card after this event, this next one happens, you got the Priestess. I feel like there's still a little bit of extra showmanship going on around you, but you're like, it's not as bad as it was before. It's a little bit curbed. They have to sing their own praises. That's just how they are. It's not as bad. It's fine. And I feel like you're kind of watching, and they know you are. So they're keeping it under control. And you're not really saying anything, but you're like, like, let's keep it rational, people. The High Priestess, though, it's the High Priestess, the Priestess, the High Priestess. I feel it's High Priestess. You're feeling good about it. You're like, I see it, but it's not going out of control. It's fine. I'm letting it be. I'm getting this person you're dealing with. There's more opportunities coming forward, and they might be overbooking something. Be careful of that. I'm getting, like, for example, I'm using the wedding cake analogy here. They might be overbooking their services. So if you work in unison with somebody, for example, and it's a wedding type venue, and you do the main food and they do the cake, just for argument's sake, and you depend on them to do the cake, the workaholic is telling me, be careful, keep in contact with this person. Whatever you depend on them for, whatever they do for the situation, I feel like they might be overbooking or overextending themselves in some way. Even if it's not overextending themselves and, like, doing too much work, maybe they're overextending themselves, like work, play, other obligations, and, like, they're getting like 3 to 4 hours of sleep at night. Just keep in contact with them. Find out how they're living, because if they start, even if they're like overrunning themselves or they're burning the candle at both ends, that's going to affect what you're dealing with. Because like somebody at full power, especially if it's something like making a wedding cake, which I think is complicated, and you got to make sure it works this way, and it should be moist, and you got to make sure it's not overdone. You got to be on alert. You got to be paying attention. You got to do things carefully. Make sure things are done nicely. If you're not at full power, that could suffer. You know what I mean? I'm seeing joy with the workaholic here as well. The joy is outside of the situation. Somebody else is excited. Somebody else is amping them up. Like, even though they're keeping control in front of you, somewhere else, somebody else is bolstering them up and saying, you can do more. Let's do this. Let's do that. Somebody else is pushing them for more fun. Even if it's not in a work situation, it could be, even though it says workaholic, they could be burning the candle at both ends in the sense of like work, play, social time, and then something else afterwards, to where they're literally getting 3 to 4 hours of sleep at night, and this could cause damage. So somebody else might be pushing them forward to do more and have more fun with. I just feel like, be careful, be aware of what they're doing. If I haven't beat that to death enough. Okay, now, as we go forward a little farther, this isn't the end yet, I've noticed. You've got the Six of Swords on your side, and in the environment, the Ace of Wands. See, this is what I'm talking about, overbooking. Ace of Wands with the forgiveness. For example, if we're going to use the same situation, I'm just trying to keep it simple. For weddings, if you did the food and they did the cake, they've got the Ace of Wands with the forgiveness. They've got something else going on, because you got the Six of Swords. Like this, you're going to have to move on from them. You're going to have to find somebody else to help you out, and that might be the situation. Because for some reason, there's something else taking precedent. That's the Ace of Wands, and it's not matching your line. It's open. Like there's no card between you and this, which is telling me they're going off and doing something else. And I don't really know if you're expecting it, but it doesn't seem like you're overly shocked by it at the same time. So if you're going forward and you're expecting this person to do the cakes for you, for example, just to keep everything copacetic, they're going to go off and do other things. I don't know if they're doing cakes with someone else or they're doing whatever they're doing. They're going off and doing something else. That's the Ace of Wands. Something else is pulling their attention. They're going off and doing something else. The forgiveness is kind of like they might need your forgiveness because they might be leaving you high and dry. That's why I'm saying at this point here, a moment ago, like keep an eye on them and what they're doing, and if they're overbooking or if they're extending themselves, burning the candle at both ends, for some reason, one way or another, they're going to have to go their own way. And you're going to have to find something to replace it. I do get that you will replace it, by the way. Whatever this person is doing for you, you will find a way to replace it. You have the Queen of Wands on your side, the Queen of Fire. You know what I mean? So you will find a way to replace them, but the impasse is here, by the way, as well. You can't go forward until you have replaced them. So the sooner you know when they're going to kind of go their own way, the better, because the sooner you know, the sooner you can work to replace them, and you can put everything back in line and keep going like you normally would. Impasse is saying you have to fix this, you have to replace this person before you can go forward, or you're going to have problems. Like, you're not going to be able to just be like, well, what? Give me some Duncan Hines mix. I'll just do it myself. You can't do that. Like in this analogy, like you can't just run to the grocery store. Like, just get me a couple boxes of Duncan Hines. I'll whip it up myself. It won't be a big deal. It will be a big deal. You can't just do that. Not with a wedding cake, in my opinion, anyway. You got to do what you think is right, of course. You have to find somebody else to take their spot. You're not going to be able to successfully go forward. You won't be successful until you do. If you try to find another way around it and do it yourself, that's some turbulence, I'm just saying. And how bad it gets depends on how far you try to go with it. There was a reason you had this person involved. That's all I'm saying. And I think that's it. All right, I think we're good. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.